Hello, and welcome to the Grounded Masculine podcast with me, your host, Finn McKenna Fox. So today I'm excited to jump into this session because this is a really important fucking topic. It's one that we spoke about just this week inside the Grounded Father men's circle. And it is one that I have this conversation with guys way too fucking often when I'm working with them. And it is about self-sabotage. Why do we continuously sabotage ourselves when things are going well? So before we get into it, let's just explore this a little bit further. So you might be doing some of this work in yourself. You're listening to this podcast. You're following stuff on Instagram. You're making some changes for yourself and you're feeling really good. You're feeling really positive. You're seeing some wins within yourself. You're showing up with more presence, more connected with your partner and kids. And overall, you're just feeling better. But life then gets busy. We get a curveball drops in front of us. Kids get sick. Work gets busy. You get sick. Whatever the fuck it might be. Something's got to happen because it always happens. Life is not fucking smooth and linear the whole time. Something's always going to happen. But when that thing happens, your old habits start to creep back in. Some of the new healthy habits that you have been building start to get a little bit pushed back on them. And you're not showing up how you want to show up. Then a few weeks pass and the habits have slowly died off a little bit more, falling back into the old behaviours, their old patterns, and you're feeling a bit more disconnected, a bit more frustrated with you and yourself. And then you're asking us, like, how the fuck am I back here? Why does this always happen? Again, a lot of times it just happens gradually, but it happens too much. And then every time it does, you just beat yourself up a little bit more. And you think about, it must be me. It's like, I'm not good enough. I can't fucking do this. Who am I? Whatever that story is that you had. I know I've been there plenty of fucking times myself. And every single one of my clients that I've worked with has been there numerous times themselves. But when we start actually using these as opportunities, rather than use them as a way to beat yourself up, that's when things start to change. And it's one of the things, like, as I've been coaching guys more and more over the last 6 years, it's like, I fucking love when they hit these moments in their life. I love when they're going through a really busy period or there's a lot of stuff fucking moving. Because this is where we actually get to dive in and utilize the tools that we're using. Whereas when life's easy, everything else is actually easy to do. Whereas when life is fucking hard, that's a lot more realistic, and that allows us to learn so much more about how we can start moving through it in a healthier way. So with that, this is what I want to give you, a framework that you can use to start understanding yourself better and to start helping you move through these patterns once and for all. Because again, these patterns will continuously fucking show up. They still show up for me. I've been doing this personal development work on myself for probably about 15, 16 years. And it still creeps up. The old patterns still creep in. I'm not going to lie. But instead of getting frustrated with that, I accept it and I go like, all right, cool. This is another opportunity to get curious. There's another opportunity to peel back the layers and see what's going on. And that's what I'm going to give you the framework to do as well. So let's dive in. So with this here, it is 6 different steps that I want you to focus on. I'll put some show notes underneath this as well. So it just gives you a little bit more framework to work on it because we do cover quite a bit. I do recommend, if you can, take some notes in this or listen back to it a couple of times to really sink this in, because this is a fucking game changer if you're able to start really embodying this in your day to day. So let's dive in. First things first is step 1, name the pattern. So this is where I want you to use this awareness that you have gained about yourself to start understanding and seeing the things that you're doing. Like, and naming the pattern, like, what is the thing that I'm doing to sabotage myself with? What is the thing that I'm doing that I said I wouldn't do? Whatever that might be for yourself, identify what that is for yourself. Like, you might have been saying, as like, I want to go to bed earlier, or I want to cut back on alcohol, or I want to start journaling every day, or I want to start putting my phone down and scrolling less. Whatever that might be for you, it's like, this is where you want to look at, is like, what is that thing that I said that I was going to do that I'm not doing? And again, the big thing with this is, especially guys who are starting out with this sort of work, is like, get specific rather than saying, is like, I want to just get my life fucking better. I want to get on top of things better. Get specific. Like, what is the one thing that you want to focus on right now? It's like, I want to go to bed earlier because I know when I go to bed earlier, I feel better when I wake up. So when I wake up, I'm actually waking up with a lot more presence, connected, and not getting frustrated and not getting as agitated with my kids, whatever that might be. Or it could be, I want to start journaling more consistency because that's going to allow me to understand myself better. It's going to allow me to process my emotions better, which then is going to allow me to show up better for my family as well. Or whatever that might be for yourself. Get fucking specific on what that one thing is that you want to focus on. Again, this isn't a time to do everything. It is the time to focus on what's one thing that you want to focus on that you've been sabotaging yourself with, and getting really intentional around that. So the next thing, is the next step is looking at what is the secondary gain that you get from not doing the thing that you say you want to do, from your sabotage. So when I say secondary gain, like this is a term that we use inside the coaching framework. It's working off like NLP type stuff, but it's looking at every shitty pattern that you have, every shitty behavior you have, even though it's not what you want to do, even though it's not serving the big picture of who you want to be, you're gaining something from that behavior because you wouldn't be fucking doing it otherwise. So let that one sink in for a second. So every time you shit in your own parade, every time you sabotage yourself, you're doing that because you're actually gaining something from that. And this is a whole other conversation in itself, but I think a lot of this comes back down to nervous system regulation. So it's like, if you are so familiar of being just in a not a great place, doing the things that you normally always do, and you're trying to be healthy, you're trying to show up different, you're trying to show up better, that new version of you is different. Your nervous system sees different as unknown. Difference, that unknown, means there's a bit of uncertainty. It's like, I don't really like this, where your nervous system really likes familiarity. Even though it might mean things that are serving you, if it is familiar, it knows that, so it feels safe there. So even if that's doing shitty fucking patterns, not looking after yourself, being fucking a lesser version of yourself, it knows that because you've lived that a long time. That's where it feels safe, even though it's not serving you. Whereas when we look at this secondary gain, it's looking as like, what are the things that the sabotage pattern are actually giving you? So again, let's go back through some of them examples that we gave you. You want to go to bed in time because you know the importance of sleep and you know how you feel better in the morning for doing so. But you stay up later than you need to. And when we look at it, it's like, you might stay up late because that's the only time in the day that you have to yourself. The house is quiet. The kids are in bed and you just have that bit of space, that time just to sit by yourself because you're just going from one thing to the other to the other. I had no fucking need for that. But again, it's like, what's going to serve you best? So again, it's like, that's why it's easy to stay up late, because you're gaining that bit of space for yourself. Or it could be like with the drinking side of things, you want to cut back on your drinking. But when you drink, that helps you to de-stress. You want to start journaling. But when you're avoiding journaling and you're not doing the journaling practice, it's like, it means you don't have to look at some of the shit that you don't want to look at because it can be fucking hard. So again, this is looking at that one thing that you have named, that one pattern behavior that you have named for yourself, and ask yourself, it's like, what is it that I am actually gaining from this? So again, when we look at that, it's like, it's really getting curious about what is the needs that underneath behavior, rather than actually just looking at the behavior. Because again, so often as we're looking at this, we're really easy. God, should we do this? I should do this. I should do this better. And it's like, we look at the behavior, but when we actually look at the needs underneath that, that's where it's going to give you so much more clarity. So then step 3 is looking at challenging the story that you have on this. So again, it's like, so much of this like comes down to like our identity, the stories that we have created for ourselves. So this is where we need to start challenging and breaking down the story that you have created to justify that pattern. Again, it might be going back at what we said, is like that secondary gain from staying up late is like, it's the only time I get to myself. So let's fucking challenge that story. It's like, is that the only time you get to yourself? Like, would you actually feel better going to bed early, waking up early and having some time to yourself in the morning rather than in the evening? Because you're not going to be sitting up fucking scrolling on your phone or on Netflix in the morning time, but you will do that in the evening time. So again, it could be just challenging them stories a little bit more. It could be looking at it as like, I deserve a few drinks because that's been a really busy day and that just helps me unwind. And it's like, does it help you unwind, or is that just something that you have done and you've made a relationship around that? Is there other healthier ways that you can unwind that's actually going to be a bit better for yourself? Again, start challenging that story for yourself. Start asking yourself, getting more curious. You'll see a big thing with this is so much of this work is the more you can ask yourself better questions, the better you're going to be at being able to show up for yourself and for your family. So again, it's just allowing yourself to move through these stages. Like it might be through journaling, it might be through just thinking, pondering on it, it might be talking to a mate, it might be talking to your friends or to a coach or anyone about this. But the more you're able to start working through this, the more you're going to be able to start understanding yourself better, understanding why you do what you do, and then being more intentional with how it is that you want to show up. So then that moves us on to step 4. And that step 4 is decide what you actually want. Get really fucking clear on what it is that you actually want with this behavior. Not the perfect version, not a complete overhaul of every fucking aspect of your life. It's just like, what would nailing this one thing actually look like for me over the next couple of weeks? That might be like, let's go fucking no booze for the next 2 weeks. Or let's be in bed by 9:30 every night during the week. for the next couple of weeks. And it could be, let's write 3 lines in my journal every single night. Get really clear on what that one thing is, what that one thing looks like, and make it clear enough that it's easy for you to follow through. And again, the big thing with this is small, simple, little changes done with consistency is so much better than being really fucking intense, changing a whole heap of stuff and then absolutely crashing and falling off the bandwagon. Whereas small, simple changes done consistently, that is where so much of the fucking change actually comes. That's where you build trust and confidence in yourself again. That's when your family build trust and confidence in you again, because they can see this change actually sticking. But it always starts with small, simple little things rather than trying to overhaul absolutely everything. Then once we're clear on what that thing is that we want to do, what that looks like, this is a really, really important principle. This is one that I love speaking into with guys, and it's one that I'm constantly challenging guys on when I'm coaching them, be it in my one-on-one container or be it in the grandfather men's circles when guys are put in the hot seat to go through some of the stuff that's going on for themselves. But it's looking at how you can create friction and flow around what it is that you want to do. So what do I mean by that? So if you have self-sabotage pattern that you want to break and bringing in a healthy habit instead. So again, you want to stop staying up late at night and you want to go to bed earlier. You want to stop avoiding the journaling and have a journal practice every night, whatever that might be. So it's like, how can we put as much friction in there and as much flow in there? So when the friction is, how can you make it as hard as possible to do the thing that you don't want to do and make it as easy as possible to do the thing that you do want to do? A really simple example that I use for this is, if you want to journal every night, is have your journal that lives on your pillow, and that's where it lives. Have a pen that lives inside the fucking journal, and that's where it lives. And everyone in the household knows this is where your journal and your pen live. It doesn't get moved. So every night you get into bed, you have to pick up that journal to get into bed. So that makes it really fucking easy for you to do the journaling when you're in bed. Whereas you get into bed and it's like, oh, I want to journal tonight. Fuck, where's my journal? It's out in my bag. And then you go out to the bag and it's like, shit, where's my pen? It's too much friction points, so it's too easy to say too hard. Whereas when it's there, it's really fucking easy. So just make it as easy as possible for yourself. And that just allows you to make easier choices or healthier choices so much easier. So again, is what frictional flow can you put in place for whatever it is that you're working on within this? Then the last one is really, really important one as well. Is like reset without shame. You're going to fuck up. You're going to fail at this at some stage. Accept that and move on from it and grow from it and learn from it. The biggest thing, again, that I see so often is we do this for a while, things going really well, we slip up and then we feel guilty, we shame ourselves, and then it takes us ages to fall off, to get back up on the horse again. Whereas the quicker you're able to move through this, the quicker you're able to like bounce back up, the better you're going to learn from it. There's no such thing as a failure if you learn from it. There's no such thing as a fuck up if you learn something from it. Whereas if you fail and fuck up and don't question it, don't ask it, don't get curious on it, you're not going to fucking learn from it, then it is a failure. Whereas if you fall, figure out what happened, put things in place and learn from it, that's growth. And that's going to help you so much quicker. And this is one of the things that the guys that I work with over a period of time start saying. It's like things that they would have sabotaged themselves with, and it would have took them like a few weeks to get back on track with it, like over like a couple of months. Instead of that being a few weeks that they're able to catch it and slowly pick themselves back up and start again, that might go from a few weeks down to like 2 weeks. And then as they get better with it, that might go from 2 weeks down to 1 week. Then as they get better with it, that might go from 1 week down to a couple of days. And as they get better with it, they're able to pick that up within a day or so much quicker and bounce back. The problem still happens, this sabotage still comes in, but instead of that taking 3 to 4 weeks for you to get back on top of it, you're back on top of it within a couple of days. And that's where the growth is. And that's the biggest thing, is like we're always focusing on progress over perfection. We're not trying to be perfect 24/7, because who the fuck is? We're trying to focus on progress. How can I show up better? How can I do this better? And that is where the real change actually lasts. So, dude, I know that I threw a lot at you with this. Again, as I said, there'll be some little notes in here that's going to help give you a little bit more of a framework with this. But again, the biggest one of this is work this in, listen back to this, take some notes yourself if you feel like you need to, and start putting this into practice. Because when you start putting in this into practice, that's where you actually start learning it and living it and breathing it and embodying it. And that is the biggest thing that most guys are missing. We consume all of this information. That sounds really cool. And then we don't do anything with it. Whereas if you can take this one thing and live it and start challenging yourself to do it, you're going to see some big fucking positive change in yourself. And again, if you want to hear more of these conversations, if you want to be around all our men who are doing this work together, this is where I invite you to come and join us inside the Grounded Father community. We meet every single Monday night. We have discussions like this. We go through trainings like this. We have coaching, and specifically we will challenge people and work people through this stuff one-on-one in the group calls. Like, there's so much fucking value in that. So if this is something that interests you, come join us inside the Grounded Father. And if you feel like you need more, then reach out. Send me a message on Instagram and let's talk. Like, I've got a few different options between my one-on-one coaching over a 6-month period if you want to do a big deep dive, or I offer a 30-day reset where work with me for 30 days. We do a deep dive, and this is where we can start making some solid progress from yourself. Big thing, dude, at the end of the day is nothing's going to change until you change. So this is an opportunity. This is an invitation for you to take that step forward for yourself. Thank you.